Good afternoon, I believe it is for you now. My name is Una St. Clair. I suffer from electrosensitivity. I do appreciate this opportunity to speak with you to explain what it is like to live as an electrosensitive person in a wireless Canada. While I am speaking from my own experience, know that I represent thousands of people in Canada who also suffer from electrosensitivity. My organization, Citizens for Safe Technology in British Columbia, over 35,000 names on petition of people who are either electrosensitive or are concerned about their exposure. The evidence that I see points to electrosensitivity as one of the most serious emerging health dilemmas of our time. I believe it's completely avoidable with proper application of responsible exposure guidelines, yet completely destructive when there is disregard for the complex and sensitive biological functions, as is the situation today. For people with electrosensitivity, including myself, there are elements of a return to the dark ages in Canada. The afflicted are misdiagnosed, ridiculed, shunned, ignored, and outcast, with no beacon of hope, compassionate medical care, or even understanding, compounded by obtuse government officials denying possibility of physical harm from microwave radio frequency. With this sad state of affairs, the possibility of a normal and productive life for me and other electrosensitive individuals rapidly integrates under the weight of denial and attack. I will not recommend you read any scientific articles to make my case, nor am I willing to be told how unlikely it is that biological damage could be occurring and that there's no convincing mechanism of harm. Electrosensitive people need no convincing that they are made ill from exposure. At this, instead, I would urge each one of you to decide that there is great value in learning from those of us who have become electrosensitive. We are not words on a page to be read and dismissed. We are not a scientific abstract to discuss dispassionately with colleagues. The health damage I and others recount must give you the red flag of warning that extreme danger lies ahead and that you heed not at the peril of all Canadians, their offspring, and our society as a whole. I am well aware of efforts to thwart recognition of electrosensitivity as a physical reaction environmental trigger. It is clear that there are those in positions of power whose mandate it is to make the quandary of electrosensitivity disappear under the guise of a psychological condition. This attitude is further aided by lack of political will from government in their association with the telecom industry, which will do anything and everything but acknowledge their products are a root cause of physical ill health. This effort to obfuscate the true nature of harm occurring to people is tantamount to a crime against humanity. Another such adventure into inappropriate thinking is to classify those with electrosensitivity as recluses. From my experience with this situation personally, this unfounded opinion could not be further from the truth and is insulting, damning to sufferers who are forced to withdraw from the wireless society as the only way to recover health. Perhaps even more important, this opinion, along with erroneous statements that electrosensitivity is a psychological condition, primarily serves to keep the focus far from where it belongs, which is on discovering the exact details of the biological causes and effects of electrosensitivity. If the current methods of testing EHS have yielded greater understanding of the biological damage resulting in ill health, then the right thing to do is to abandon that form of exploration for a new avenue of scientific discovery, but do not abandon the people who are suffering so greatly. Very briefly, I attended college and university in British Columbia and worked for 15 years in the legal field. I changed focus in my early 30s, taking on the position of education coordinator for the BC Education Society, and then became Northwest Director of the Cancer Prevention Coalition. I have built and sold 2 successful businesses and been a board member for consecutive terms with an international multi-billion-dollar company. Community activities have always played a large role in my life, including PAC chair of elementary and secondary schools and many theatrical choreographer of several well-known musicals. I've been married for 25 years and I have 2 children. I'm telling you this because I represent most electrosensitives. My brain works just fine and I am not a hysteric. It is safe to say that life prior to electrosensitivity would be classified as normal, busy, productive, and engaged with the community on many different levels. In contradiction to claims that people fighting the wireless scourge are techno-peasants or worse, Luddites, Of particular note is the fact that I assisted my husband when he launched one of the first cellular phone rental companies in Vancouver. We were the first to use cellular phones, from the brick to the razor, and the first to use all manner of wireless devices in the home. But life has now changed beyond belief for me. My personality has not changed. My desires to work, be productive, be involved in a positive and energetic way with family and community have not changed. Yet I am unable to live freely in this wireless society. I can no longer shop with ease, visit my friends. My love of travel is curtailed due to Wi-Fi and everything from airports, airplanes, hotels, and even on the beach. I cannot make the best use of my education, training, and expertise as workplaces are filled with wireless devices and toxic emissions. When my children perform at school and university, visits must be restricted to a limited time, as places of education are now also places of massive wireless exposure. Only by maintaining a life free from wireless exposure for the most part can I experience good health that is my normal state of being. How and why did this occur when supposedly we have microwave radiation guidelines that protect the public, that protect me? By the year 2000, I was running my own business, never without a cordless phone or a cell phone. Why I suffered regular severe migraines was a mystery to me as well as my doctor. A year later, frightening episodes of extremely irregular heartbeats commenced, so intense at times that it would appear my heart was trying to escape through my rib cage. I remember worrying that I would die sometimes, as my heart would become so unstable that I could not take a breath, and time was suspended until the next beat occurred. Despite extensive medical tests, no irregularities were found. This situation continued until in 2007 I experienced a sudden decline in health. For a period of 4 months I was overcome with a myriad of health problems which steadily worsened until I was unable to work or care for my family. Severe migraines and nausea that never ceased, dizziness to the point of falling over, ringing in the ears, loss of memory function and ability to concentrate, sudden and anxiety with tremors, irritable bowel syndrome, urinary tract infections, bleeding gums, and painful teeth. At this time, my heart was consistently irregular, either racing or rhythmic, which culminated in a hospital visit due to heart attack symptoms. After months of this absolutely terrible existence, of specialist appointments and medical tests, my condition improved as suddenly as it had worsened for no apparent reason at the time. It was only in hindsight investigation that clarity was gained. My sudden health deterioration occurred during the time that a Wi-Fi router was operational in my home office. The return to wired connections in the house was to protect children from unsupervised internet access. However, the act of disabling the Wi-Fi router brought a return of my health. It further became clear as time progressed that being in close proximity to wireless devices and base stations, even for a short period of time, would cause a rapid return of some of the most severe and debilitating health problems. From that point on, all wireless devices were removed from our home and my person, which not only eliminated the recent and sudden health complaints, but also stopped the severe migraines and heart irregularities which had plagued me for a number of years. Health disintegration caused or exacerbated by microwave radio frequency radiation. I know the children who cannot attend school due to ubiquitous Wi-Fi exposures. I know the people who have had to flee their homes, jobs, families, friends, and loved ones to find a safer place to live. I know people sleeping in their cars and in the woods to escape sources of wireless emissions, and I know those who have lost hope of finding a safe place to live, whose health is so damaged they see no escape but death. So my question is, why don't you know these people? Why is there no medical doctor on your panel with expertise in environmental illness? Why has no attention been given to developing a proper medical health testing protocol to diagnose and support people with EHS? Why is there no place to even register these health complaints, as was recommended by HESA in 2010? By not seeking out those with this condition, I believe you are missing crucial evidence that exposures today are resoundingly, obscenely too high, at least for the most vulnerable in our society. There is no protection of the public against biological damage when so many of us have literally lost our lives and are now condemned to live a half-life to be free of illness, hiding in basements and behind veils, in farmers' fields, so far out in rural areas that no proper services are available. How can we as a society firstly let this happen, and secondly let it continue? It does appear that insanity rules in this situation, but not necessarily on the part of people trying to escape wireless exposure as a means of survival. No, the insanity is in perpetuating guidelines that are unprotected with intent to dismiss, ignore, and subvert attention from health damage being created, a result of factors influencing decision making other than what is best for public health. This damage and veritable destruction of people's health and lives due to wireless exposures will not go away because experts don't understand what is happening, or worse, don't want to believe it is happening. The numbers of people so afflicted are increasing in direct relation to the increasing exposures from wireless devices in every walk of life. Your panel has the power and the obligation to set up exposure guidelines which protects the most vulnerable in our society. Electrosensitivity can be a thing of the past. I believe your very, very first action needs to be to protect children, to call for wired schools, and to give parents warnings about RF exposure. To do anything less will condemn thousands of people in Canada to suffer through experiences akin to the Dark Ages. If this is truly a transparent review panel, with its highest purpose being to discover the truth, then please let your obligation to do so be your guide and light the way forward. I believe that nobody should have to go through what I have gone through. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. St. Clair. Any questions from the panel? Any observations? Floor? Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.